Hello, Facebook, Lindsay Price here, trying to find my light, sort of. Well, we'll just go with that. It's never gonna be, it's never gonna be perfect. It's live, right? It's Facebook Live. Lindsay Price, resident playwright for Theater Folk, here to talk to you. I'm jazzed about today's topic. Because it's something I am 1,001% believer in. I'm ready to go. I got my tea. I got my corner set up. We're ready to rock and roll. So what I have here is in the description the statement that drama class is the most important class. I said it. And I think that it's true. I know there are a million, gazillion people who will disagree with that. There's people who think that there is way more important things to learn than what's happening in the drama class. And I say no. I say nay. Drama class is where it's at. And if today's students have a hope of getting somewhere in the world, of surviving, of dealing with stress that might be going on in their life right now, in figuring out how to communicate and talk to each other, figuring out life skills, drama class is where it's at. So let's talk about that, about how drama class does all of these things. And I know that you know. I know that we're just talking to I'm preaching to the choir maybe, but maybe there is somebody who is in your life who you're dealing with, who does not have the same point of view, and maybe there's something together. Maybe you and I together can figure out a way to, if not change their mind, but help you out to state your case. So a couple of the things that we've got. If you look at the description, I've got some podcasts this week. We've got some podcasts on this topic where if you are really feeling like this is something that you believe in, but you are alone, that's the other thing I'm sure is happening. Maybe you are of this opinion, but there is no one around you who feels the same way. You know that drama class is important. You know that you have the most important class and nobody is on your side. Take a listen to these podcasts and feel alone no longer. So there's a couple of very specific, I put my tea on my notes. Don't put your tea on your notes. Ways of looking at this. So the first one is the whole idea that drama class creates community, right? Why is it the most important class? Because it actually teaches students how to work together, how to look at other people in their class and who they maybe don't have something in common with. As you know, just because they're in drama class doesn't mean everybody in that class likes drama, which boggles my mind. But I see more and more classes filled with students who are in that class for reasons other than having a lifelong passion for drama. How is that possible? So that's what drama class can do. It can help build a community. And a community doesn't necessarily mean, everybody who is who believes everything the same way all the time. A community is a group of people who work together for a same goal sometimes. That's what an ensemble is, right? You want to build a community, start by building an ensemble and having your students learn how to work together, to give feedback to one another, to just be able to live in the world and get people of differing opinions, and make it okay to hear those differing opinions and respond in a communicative fashion, a community-minded fashion, and not a fashion which is not community-minded. What was that, Mr. Mason? Selfish. I'm getting help from off stage in my struggle to come up with the word. It's a good thing I don't have an English degree or anything, or use words for a living to figure things out. But that's what Google is for. So the thing that we have here, the one of the links that is really wonderful. I love this conversation, and just in terms about how much theater is a community, how you can make your class a community, the value of the ensemble, and just particularly if you've got students who are new to drama, if you have students who don't know each other, I think that's the number one greatest skill that you can instill in them is working together as a community, working together as an ensemble, learning those skills. And I think creating a community-minded individual might be the number one skill that you can give your students, right? Create that community-minded. If you can send out a student into the world with a notion of working with others and being able to work with others, that is an amazing, one more amazing thing. So, podcast episode 155 with teacher Carrie Ryberg. Yes, Carrie Ryberg. And she talked about working with a group of students and who they were coming together, and that the thing that she saw right away was what she had to do was get them to work together and work together as an ensemble. So I think the drama class is the most important class because it can teach community. It can teach ensemble and an ensemble in the concept of everyone working together towards a common goal, or as a community, everybody who might not think the same way, but can be together in the same environment. 2, drama class is the most important class because it can create a safe space. Today, more than any other time, that 2 things. One, that students might not feel safe in their environment and not quite sure what to do about that. And that also that students are realizing it just seems to be that this is just coming to the forefront, that their differences are important, and that what makes them a unique human being, it's important to stand up and be that human being. I think it's absolutely phenomenal to think of a 15, a 16, a 17-year-old student having the courage to stand up and proclaim who they are, and particularly if it is not what everyone else around them expects or likes. And to have a place where a student who can be themselves, I think is I don't know how many students have that, and what happens to those students who don't have that safe space. This is what drama class can do. This is why drama class is important, because you can work towards making a community where everybody is who they are, and how you can work together as an ensemble where students are working together towards a goal. That creates a safe space where students can be themselves. And the podcast that I put together, I pulled for that, involves one of our longtime theater folk playwrights, Stephen Stack. And we had a really great conversation about gender and about creating a safe environment for students to own who they are, embrace who they are, and stand up for who they are. Being a human being is challenging, right? It can be a challenge. It can be uncomfortable. And how do you create a safe space, a communicative space, an accepting community? I think that drama class is one of those places. I talked about empathy last week, and empathy is a lot of, putting yourself in another person's, thinking about other people's experiences, and the whole idea of putting yourself in someone else's shoes and what that might be like. So it's a really wonderful conversation. Now more than ever, I think that these conversations, it's a good thing to avail yourself to listen to somebody who is going through having a safe space in his own classroom, his own teaching area, where students feel safe enough to be human, right? I think that that's remarkable. So that is the second one. So one, I think drama class is the most important class because you can work on creating community. You can work on creating ensemble, and those are skills that they will use for the rest of their life. Knowing how to talk to somebody is pretty that is pretty important. And my goodness, there are many adults in this world who have little to no idea how to communicate with other people, how to communicate their own ideas, how to work with others. I want you to think right now, how many of you know someone right now who does not play well with others? Now is the time, right? Now is the time to start looking at your students and thinking about what can you do to make sure that in 10 years they are amazing human beings that can contribute to society. Getting along with others is huge. Creating that safe space. Creating a safe space is a second reason why the drama class is the most important class. Now is the time to be inclusive. Now is the time to make students feel safe, so that if a student feels safe, they're going to be the ones who are going to get out of their shell in your classroom. They're going to be the ones who are going to be able to be okay with presenting in front of others. They're going to be okay with hearing feedback from others, right? Those are all really important things. To be able to feel safe to give criticism and get criticism, and give criticism in a way that is informative and not destructive. Safe space, safe space, safe space. Life skills. Life skills is vital. How often, I think the thing that I think about most often about what school did not do for me was to think about any of the life skills that you need in this world to survive. So we've already talked about community. We've already talked about communication. Well, what about self-confidence? What about self-evaluation? What about creative thinking? These creative thinking, critical thinking, these are supposed to be the skills that are touted as communication, critical thinking, collaboration, creative thinking. Those are supposed to be, the 4 C's of 21st century skills. Where else can you learn them but in the drama classroom, right? Creative thinking, working on a scene in groups, writing a play, critical thinking, giving feedback on that scene, collaboration, working together to bring that scene to life, communication. What is the play trying to say? What is the vision of the scene trying to say? How are you communicating it to an audience? Self-evaluation, right? Being able to look at something you've done and look at it with a critical eye, right? We are sort of in we're told that this is now a life of young people. Oh, the young people. Oh, they're doing all the wrong things. But there's no competition. It's all participation medals. That everything they do is good. So if that is the case, let's say that is the case. Okay, so in your classroom, in the drama classroom, that's the place where you can start to really give them skills of self-evaluation, evaluating others, self-confidence. A lot of where students go awry is just not having the confidence to stand up in front of anybody. It took me forever to have that one skill. The one skill of speaking in public, I'm going to say took me a good 15 years, maybe even longer, to find that confidence in my skin. What if that had been something that I had been working on when I was 15? Right? What if that had been something that I had been working on and was able to instill into my life when I got out of school? Hey, Kevin, there's a nice article I use in my classroom, either from EDTA or Teaching Theater. Theater and Life. Absolutely. Can I see more? Yes. About how theater has helped them in their position. Yes, there are lawyers who talk about how theater has helped them. And the whole notion, I think, again, that whole notion of just speaking in public is a life skill that happens in a multitude of jobs. And it's amazing how it's such a hard thing for people. This is why your classroom, the drama classroom, is the most important class. And then we have because I'm all about bringing it home. I'm all about returning it round. We've got a great podcast on teaching life skills and how that is a really important thing and how that can be your focus. You know, it all depends on what your goals are, right? You know, and if it's a process goal or a product goal, and either of both of those goals, I think can move towards having students work on life skills, on creating that safe place, you know, the safe place, and community. Yeah, you're so right, Kevin. So many of your students, this is a great button. How many of your students are actually going to go into theater? Right? How many of the people you see over a span of 4 years, how many of them are going to end up as professionals? The number is going to be really low because the drama classroom is not about creating professionals. The drama classroom is about creating human beings. And there's not a lot of other places where they can go to learn how to talk to each other, to work with each other, to problem solve in the moment, like improv helps, to have a place where they can communicate how they're feeling as a human being in their world. And some of the life skills where they can actually get some feedback on how to stand up in front of a classroom with confidence. Speak into a phone for 15 minutes, you know, how about that? So, all of you out there who, if you're alone in your school, if you know that what I'm saying is to be true, but people around you are just not believing it, grab these podcasts, listen, and you will hear a voice in the wilderness that is on your side. If you have got some tips on why you think why drama class is the most important class, throw them down in the comments for other folks to read as well whenever they come and watch my face. Because everybody's in the same boat, and everybody has we all have great potential to create pretty great human beings. So why not? All right, guys, have a wonderful night. Drama class is important.